Hey all my yarny friends, I'm Sara Sach and welcome back to my crochet channel. Now today's video I'm going to show you how to crochet what we're calling the Stay Cool water bottle cozy. And it's really neat and cool because it has this twirling stitch that's formed by offsetting all of our chain one spaces. And it is really a pretty and useful water bottle cozy or water bottle bag. I put the Gatorade in here because it's a 20 ounce. I also use this one and it's one of my favorite waters. It's called Splash and it comes in lots of different flavors. And it's 16 ounces. So you can use this water bottle cozy from 16 to 24 ounce water bottles or sports drink. It's a great thing to have along with you. And if your water bottle is longer, like say you carry one that you've bought, you can just make more rows and make it longer because it is very stretchy. And we're making it out of cotton, so it is absorbent. And you can also adjust the size of the handle just by adding more chains. So it's a pretty versatile bag. And it's also a pretty bag that has these alternating chain one spaces that gives this twirling effect around the bag. Kind of reminds me of an ocean wave. All right, so you can find the complete pattern for our Stay Cool water bottle cozy on my blog as always. And you can find that link down in the notes in that description box underneath this video. To make your Stay Cool water bottle cozy, you're going to need about 1.5 ounces, which is about 75 yards, of a medium weight number 4 cotton or cotton blend. I'm going to be using this. It's Premier Home, of course, by Premier. And the color of this is called pastel blue. But to me, it looks more like a mint. I would have called it mint. It doesn't look blue to me. It looks minty. But anyway, you can use any cotton or cotton blend or even an acrylic if you prefer, as long as it's a medium weight number 4 yarn. So you'll need about 1.5 ounces. We're going to be stitching today with our H hook, which is a 5.0 millimeter crochet hook. You're going to need a needle just for weaving in ends, and then of course you're going to need a pair of scissors. We'll be starting at the bottom of our water bottle cozy or koozie, however you want to say that, and we'll be working up the top and then we'll add that handle. All right, so we'll start with our slip knot here. We're going to chain 5 and join this chain 5 into a circle. So we'll take the tail of yarn, put it over our hook and pull that through. Now we'll just snug that down and tie that stay knot. If you would prefer to do the magic circle here or another circle way that you prefer, that's totally fine. We're going to go in, pull up a loop, and chain 3. Now we're going to stitch 9 double crochets. Our chain 3 counted as our first, and we're stitching 9 more so that we'll have 10 double crochets. Yarn over, go in, pull up a loop, yarn over, go through the first 2, yarn over and go through the second 2. That's our double crochet. You'll also notice as I'm stitching over that tail of yarn, and that's so that I can easily close that hole in the center. Alrighty, let's see how many I've done. Here's my chain 3, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I need to do 2 more. 9 and 10. All right, we're going to join to that chain 3 with a slip stitch and chain 3. Now before I go on, I'm going to grab my needle. We're going to gently pull on that string on the back side and go ahead and weave this in. You can weave it in when you're done if you want to. Sometimes I weave it in afterwards and sometimes I weave it in now. Sometimes if the project is kind of small and I don't want to have to turn it wrong side out to get to it, I'll do it that way also. But you want to weave that in, make sure that's going to stay nice and closed. Going back and forth. I probably should have given myself just a little bit bigger tail here. When that happens, just put your needle in and then thread that needle. There we go. Give that a good hard pull. Make sure everything's going to stay put. Clip that off, and now we have row 1, which has 10 double crochets, counting that chain 3, join and chain 3. For row 2, our chain 3 counts as our first double crochet. We're going to double crochet in the same stitch as that chain 3. And now we're going to stitch 2 double crochets in each of those double crochets around. So row 1 had 10, and row 2 will have 20 double crochets. I stitched 2 double crochets in each of those 10 around, so we have 20 double crochets. We're going to join to that chain 3 with a slip stitch and only chain 1. We're going to be stitching single crochets on this row. And so what we're going to do is stitch 1 single crochet in the next double crochet. Then in the next we'll stitch 2 single crochets. 1, 2. 1 single crochet in the next, 2 single crochets in the next. 1 and 2 all the way around. 1 in the next, 2 single crochets in the next, and repeat all the way around. So we stitched 1 single crochet in the first, 2 in the next, 1 and 2 single crochets all the way around. So you're going to have 30 single crochets. We're going to join to that first single crochet with a slip stitch and chain 1. The chain 1 does not count as a stitch on these 2 rows. All right. Now, this next row, we're just going to go right in that first stitch and stitch 1 single crochet in each of those 30 single crochets around. One single crochet in each of those single crochets all the way around. And you'll notice that it'll start to curl because we didn't add any more increases. We're just starting to form the sides of our bag or cozy. 1 single crochet in each single crochet around. We stitched 1 single crochet in each of the single crochets around. So again, we have 30 single crochets. We're going to join to that first single crochet with a slip stitch and chain 3. All right, now this is the outside and this side is the inside. So I'm going to curve it this way because I'm going to be working on the outside of the bag. And what we're going to do for row 5 is just stitch 1 double crochet in each of the single crochets. So our chain 3 counts as our first, so we'll go in the next and stitch a double crochet. So 1 double crochet in each of the single crochets, working all the way around. And that next row we'll start doing that really cool, what I call swirling stitch. All right, so 1 double crochet in each of our single crochets all the way around. I stitched 1 double crochet in each of my single crochets around. I'm going to join to that chain 3 with the slip stitch and chain 3. All right, now we're ready for row 6. Our chain 3 counts is our first double crochet, and we're going to double crochet in the next 3 stitches. we're going to chain 1, skip the next double crochet, and double crochet in the next 4. And the reason it's the next 4 is because our chain 3 counted as our first, so we have 4 double crochets, a chain 1, and a skip 1. And now I'm going to stitch 4 more. Four double crochets, chain 1. We stitched 4 double crochets, chain 1, skip 1, and now we'll stitch 1 double crochet in the next 4 again. Chain 1, skip 1, 1 double crochet in the next 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And so that's our repeat for row 6. And you'll have these little spots of chain 1 spaces. 4 double crochets, chain 1, skip 1, 4 double crochets, chain 1, skip 1, and we'll repeat that all the way around. I finished repeating 4 double crochets, chain 1, skip 1, and you're going to have 6 sets of those. Here's my last 4 double crochets, chain 1, skip the last stitch. We're going to join to that chain 3 with a slip stitch, and then we're going to slip stitch in the top of that next double crochet and chain 3. And this is the way it will work in order to cause the swirling motion that the chain 1 spaces make. All right, so we have 1 double crochet. We're going to stitch 1 double crochet in the next 3. So 1, 2, and then our third or our fourth stitch, because our chain 3 counted as our first, we're going to stitch our double crochet in the chain 1 space. Then we'll chain 1, we'll skip the first double crochet and double crochet in the next 4 stitches. 1, 2, 3, and then our chain 1 space is our 4th double crochet and chain 1. So then again we'll stitch our first double crochet and stitch 1 double crochet in the next 4 stitches. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and chain 1. And so you'll see that now the chain 1 spaces are over by 1. All right, and then we'll repeat this around, stitching 1 double crochet in the next 4, chain 1, skip 1, 4 double crochets, chain 1, skip 1, and we'll repeat this around. I completed row 7. We have 4 double crochets, chain 1, and you'll notice, and if you did it correctly, your chain 1 spaces will be offset by 1, all of them. And again, you have 6 sets. So here's my last 4 double crochets, chain 1. I'm going to join to the chain 3 with a slip stitch, and then I'm going to slip stitch in the next double crochet and chain 3. Our chain 3 again counts as our first double crochet for row 8. And so again, I'm going to stitch 1 double crochet in the next 3 double crochets. 1, 2, and then that third stitch is my chain 1 space. All right, and that's the way the pattern will work. Chain 1, we'll skip the first double crochet of the next set of 4 and 1 double crochet in the next 4 stitches. And so your first 3 stitches again will be 1 in each of the double crochets and then 1 in the chain 1 space. And again, chain 1, skip that first double crochet and repeat. And this is what gives us that little swirling motion with our chain 1 spaces. And again, you'll see that your chain 1 spaces are offset by 1. So we chain 1, we skip the first double crochet, 1 double crochet in the next 3, and then the 4th double crochet is in the chain 1 space, chain 1, and repeat. And you'll repeat that around just like we did the other ones. And join back to that chain 3. And you can already see how the chain 1 spaces are offset, and again, make that twirling motion. And so I completed row 8. We stitched 4 double crochets, chain 1, and repeated all the way around for 6 sets of those. We join, here's our last 4 double crochets, chain 1, we join to our chain 3 with a slip stitched in the next double crochet, and chained 3. And so now what you're going to do is you're going to continue to repeat row 8 for 6 more rows. And that's going to cause this to continue to offset that chain 1 to cause that swirling motion that makes our cozy so cute. All right, so you're going to continue to repeat row 8 for 6 more rows. I completed those 6 additional rows, and I slid a piece of paper inside there so that you could see better how that twisting motion looks. You'll see it clearly on your water bottle, of course, but I wanted you to have a really good idea of how that looked as we rotated around and moved that chain 1 space over by 1 on each row. And I really think it makes a really neat and cool looking water bottle cozy. Now, this again will fit a 20 to 24 inch bottle. If you have a taller bottle and you want to do more rows, or maybe you want to use it for something else, you can continue to make it as long as you want to for whatever use that you want. All right, I'm going to slide that piece of paper out so we can do that last row. And actually we have 2 more rows. But what we're going to do now is we're just going to stitch a solid row of double crochet around the top. So after you finished your last row, which here is row 14, we joined to our chain 3 and chained 3. We didn't slip stitch in that next stitch. It's not necessary on this row. And so we're going to stitch a double crochet in each of the double crochets. Whoops, got a string there. Cotton can be a little stringy sometimes. There we go. And then we'll also stitch a double crochet in our chain 1 space. And so we're just bringing it back to having a solid row of double crochet stitches around the top. So 1 double crochet in each of the double crochet stitches, and 1 double crochet in each of the chain 1 spaces. And that'll give you a nice even row of double crochet around the top of our water bottle bag, or cozy, or koozie. They have lots of names. It doesn't matter what they're called. They're super fun to make and use. Alrighty, so I'm just going to continue on around, stitching 1 double crochet in each of the double crochets and chain 1 spaces. So I stitched that solid row of double crochets. We're going to join to the chain 3 with a slip stitch and chain 1. And now this last row around is just a single crochet row. So we'll just stitch 1 single crochet in each of those double crochets around. And then once we get back around, we'll make the handle and we'll be all completed with our koozie, cozy, or bag, and ready to use it for our water bottle. All right, so 1 single crochet in each of the double crochets around. I stitched around 1 single crochet in each of the double crochets around. and I join to my single crochet, and now we're going to chain 24 chains. I've chained 24 chains, and this is going to give me a handle this size. If you want a longer handle, like maybe you want to use it for walking, you want to carry it like a crossbody bag, you can make the handle as long as you want to. I like it just long enough to go over my wrist to hold onto my arm here when I'm walking my dogs. Okay, so you just go across the other side. Slip stitch, then we're going to go in the next stitch and slip stitch because we want that to be held on there securely. Chain 1 and turn, and now we're just going to slip stitch our way back across the handle, and this will give us a nice sturdy handle because, you know, a water bottle can be a little bit heavy. We want to make sure we're not going to lose that on our walk anywhere because we're definitely going to need a water bottle this summer. It's a hot one. Alright, so I'm just going to continue working across the chain, stitching a slip stitch in each chain. Now, if you think that that's not going to be a sturdy enough handle for what you want, you can always do single crochet stitches instead of the slip stitches. If you feel like you want a little bit sturdier of a handle, both will work just fine. Alright, so I'm going to finish working my way across, and then we'll tie off and we'll be done. I have slip stitched back across my handle. I'm going to join to that next stitch. Grab my scissors here, cut that, and tie that off. And I'm going to use my needle to weave this in because I want this to be nice and secure. And we'll just go back and forth in those stitches, going one way, then the other, going through fibers, and just making sure that is not going anywhere. All right, cut that off. And now my water bottle cozy is ready. So I've slid my water bottle in here. This is that splash one, and I believe this one is, it's 16.9 ounces. And here's my Gatorade bottle, because we like Gatorade. There we go. Fits that one nicely, too. And the Gatorade is 20 ounces. So anything from 16 to 24 ounces will work in this bag, because it is very stretchy. And I like them because they're cotton. They can absorb up the sweat on the bottles because I like to stick mine in the freezer. One thing I do with the water is I'll pour half of it into a cup and put that in the fridge. And then if you set your bottle sideways, it'll freeze at an angle. So you can pour that water back inside after it's frozen. And that will keep it nice and cold. And you can do the same thing with the Gatorade. But whether you're taking a sports drink or water or whatever you're taking with you, you'll have a bag that will absorb that sweat and will be easy and sturdy to carry.